Thank you for coming to the workshop of Marta Siembab, Follow Your Nose. Thank you to Marta for organizing this special workshop, and enjoy it. Io volevo solo ricordarvi che Follow Your Nose, segui il tuo naso, è già stato creato da Maria Rosa Ferrari in Profumo Alchemico, era un suo concept creativo, e quindi mi ha chiesto di ricordarvi che anche per lei è importante questo concept. Thank you so much for coming and enjoy.
Thank you, Valentina, and indeed, thank you everyone for joining us here for the workshop. I'm really thrilled to be here with you. And it's going to be a hands-on workshop, so you will actually making the maps yourselves. The introduction will be relatively short, and I hope you will enjoy the time spent together. I decided to do the workshop with you this year because I believe that we need to raise olfactory awareness not only in the field of perfume, of fine fragrance, and in the business realm, but also we need to concentrate more on the smells that simply exist around us. The smells of places, smells of people, smells of animals, all the smells that trigger emotions. So this workshop is about emotions. It's also about practicing mindfulness, raising awareness, preserving heritage. And those of you who have children, I really encourage you to stimulate the olfactory imagination of your kids and perhaps make such maps, olfactory maps, smell walks just at home. Before we start, let's agree on a definition. It's a definition I created myself. I hope it's as concise as possible. So how I understand a smell map, it's a layout of areas of a place or a space in which one can experience a smell. I wrote a smell on purpose, not a scent, because smells can be both positive or negative, or the emotional charge of a smell can be different. And we can also translate smells in various ways. So it's not just scents, it's not something that smells nice or was man-made, it's just a smell. And a smell walk, it's a route along which we can experience smells. And later on, I will show you how you can prime yourself and how you can start thinking of making maps, because maps are not only for cities, we can do them both in micro scale and macro scale. I hope you will enjoy it. I would like to start with a couple of examples of how a smell map can be executed. It's just to get your imagination started. They are not outlines for you or rules for you to follow. I would like each one of you to be inspired just on your own. I would like to introduce a couple of examples of how maps are executed, just so that you can see how they can be made, but they are, of course, not the only ways in which you can make a smell map. This is a map of the city of Singapore. And the author of the map is Kate McLean. I will introduce Kate a little bit later on. She's a person to follow if you get interested in smell maps and smell walks. Interestingly, you can see that she mapped out different scents in the scentscape of the city of Singapore. And in the key to the map, that is on the right-hand side, she divided the areas in which you can experience scents into 3 categories. So we've got background scents, which means that if you are in a specific area and you simply inhale and exhale, the scent will be there, so you will smell it involuntarily. And you can see that she mapped out the areas with dots that show you where you can smell the scent. The denser the pattern is, the stronger the smell, and the other way around. Then we've got episodic scents, which means that you need to be in a specific spot to smell it. Sometimes you must do something to experience the scent. Sometimes it just comes to you naturally. And what I really liked is the 3 curious scents that she put on the map. Curious means something different to each one of us. If we make cross-cultural projects, you will see that a smell that is obvious to you may be surprising or curious to a person who comes from a different culture. So we also have curious scents that trigger some associations, or they touch your emotions, or they are simply something new and you still don't know if you like them or not. So this is one way to do it. If you want to see more maps by Kate McLean, because they are prepared in a perfect graphic way. She's a graphic designer, she's an artist, so I encourage you to visit her blog or her website. There are many, many maps to look at. And this is also a map by Kate McLean. For those of you who are more verbal, I like words and I like describing scents with words. I'm not very good at drawing, so if I was making a map, I would probably use more words to describe what I can smell. This is a smell map of Old London Market Street, and you can see and read about the things that you can smell. So we have a symbol of a church and the word incense under it. The areas are mapped out using watercolor, just splotches, blots of color that give you this feeling that this is an area in which the scent is present. So you can read and see what the smell is about. So another way to picture it. And the smell map can also be made in 3D. This is more of an installation, and you see that the scents have comments from different people. So it's one map, but with different insights. You will have post-it notes that will share different people's reactions to the same smell. So it's also interesting that we can make an overview, encouraging and involving many people to share what it makes them feel, the same scent. It's just a rough photo of the 3D map. And Kate McLean is the person to follow if you are interested in smell maps. She's an artist and designer from London, and she's really into enhancing the cultural background of places, involving people who live there, who are residents, but also visiting tourists just to see what kind of smells trigger the memory. And so she's like a guide in smell walks and smell maps. Again, I encourage you to visit her website. But the smell map can also be a travel back into the past. Here we have a map, a historical map, or maybe it's a contemporary map of historical smells. You can find out what Manhattan's sewers smelled like in 1910. I found this map on smellmachine.com, and you can see different pins that show you specific spots where you can experience a smell. And in some cases, it's not very consistent, unfortunately, but in some cases, for example, with gasoline or with sewer gas, they also tell you how strong the odor is. So this modality can also be included in your smell maps. You might want to tell the audience or the person who will be smelling and looking at your smell map how strong the odor is. So not only what you can smell, but how strongly. And very often when we think of maps, we think of the outside world. We think of cities, we think of countries, of districts, but you can also map out your inner smellscape. I was really touched by this smell map, because this is a smell map of a child who is just a couple of years old, and this child was asked, what smells can you name? So what smells have you experienced so far in your life? And these are the smells that this child named. They are not aligned chronologically, or they don't correspond to a specific time or place. It's just the things that touched the child, that have touched the child so far. So you can also map up the inner world, not only the outside world. It's an interesting approach to making smell maps. And again, stimulating children's imagination with smells from very early age, it's really beneficial. And it makes them more artistic in other fields, not only olfactory imagination. And just as I said at the beginning, a smell walk needs you to move from one place to another, and then we map out the order in which you experience the smell. So this is also the difference between a map and a walk, because if you have a map, you make the decision which smells you want to experience and where you want to go, but you can also plan the experience, the sense experience, so as to say, and you can take a person on a tour along specific points in a specific order if you want them to smell the smells in a specific order. And here we have an international project by Kate McLean again. She sourced data from North America, Europe, and Asia, and you can see that smells which are marked with the same number, they can be experienced in different parts of the world. So they can serve as communicates, they can serve as elements of language, and you can tell stories using the same smells that people from different cultures know and they can relate to. So for me it was very interesting to see that she did it across the whole planet, basically. And this is more of a multi-sensory map or walk. You will see it then divided into sections later on. Here we not only can see what you can experience during your walk, you can also read the name of the smell, which in many cases helps you identify it, and then the smiley faces. They are not always smiling, but the faces, they show you the emotional reaction. So you might want to think if you want to tell other people how you felt about the smell, and then you can compare your emotional response to other people's responses. It was something that took me over an hour to explore. This is an interactive map. Please Google Jason Logan, and the whole project was uploaded on a website of New York Times. And when you move your mouse across the map of the city, you will see different districts of the city light up. You will get a description of the smellscape of a particular district, and this is very neatly divided into two sections: day smells in magenta and night smells in blue. So it's really interesting and really stimulating to take an olfactory walk with the move of the mouse and check how the smells change. You can also compare the type of the environment. Is it more urban? Is it more industrial? Is it more natural? Then different descriptions, which are also written in a very dynamic language. It's a great way to spend time, maybe before you visit New York City for the first time. And again, coming back to the map we have just seen a couple of minutes before, this is also divided into three dimensions of a smell map. So something you can only smell, but also things you can touch, the texturescape and the soundscape. Because very often, when there is a smell, there is also a sound. So the animal, the person, or the machine that exudes a smell, it also makes a sound, so you might as well include it in your smell map. It was just to move your imagination and get you started on thinking about smells and creating a map, because now the time will come for you to make your own smell map or map out a route for a smell walk. I would like you to think of a place or a space in which there are smells that create a unique site-specific experience. It means that you can only smell those things in this place in particular, okay? It's very important that you think of a place that means something to you, that evokes some emotions. It can be positive emotions or it can be negative emotions, but the emotional element is very important in making a smell map because it makes it more credible. And it's just an example because, as I said, you can get inspired in the way you want. You can map out a smellscape for something as small as your handbag. I personally like the smell of my bag, of the bag itself, but also the insides. You can smell the lipstick and the face powder and the candy that I have there, and very often a rotting banana, because this is what I eat during the day. But then I would forget more often than not about the banana that is left. So your handbag is something small that you can map. Then we have your bed. Many people love the smell of their beds. Your room, your home, your workplace, but you can also map a person, like the arms or the body of your lover, or the smell of your child, or your cat or dog. And we can go to macro scale, where you can map your street, pretty obvious, but then also your district, your city, your region. And by the way, more and more cities and regions are trying to use smell maps and smell walks in promoting the brand of the city. So you will see different smell maps and smell walks included in tourist guides, and we haven't really seen it before. You can map your country, your continent, your planet. You can even take an attempt and map the whole universe if you want. So just to prepare yourself mentally for the task, please try to ask yourself those questions. If you have already chosen the place that you would like to map, what smells are present there? And are the smells obvious, so you don't need to do anything to experience them, or are they hidden? And if they are hidden, what do you need to do to smell them? Do you need to get on your knees? Do you need to lie flat on your stomach? Do you need to lift something? Do you need to stand on tiptoe? Do you have to climb? Do you need to persuade someone to reveal the smell? So this is also an important element. And what emotions are triggered by the smell? The way you express emotions, again, can be verbal. You can use color. You can use a sound. So when you take someone on a tour, you can produce the sound as you tell the story. It's all up to you. And I would like you to take no more than 3 minutes to talk to the person next to you about the place that you want to map and give them like 3 basic pieces of information about the place that you will map out, okay? And then we will go to mapping itself. So now talk to the people next to you 3 minutes and tell them what kind of a place you are going to map. Go. And if anyone wants to join the table here in front, please do, because there is lots of space. We have a couple of chairs, so you're welcome to come up and join us. Okay, I can hear that the room is buzzing with ideas. It's a good thing. Before you start making the maps, I would like to tell you that those of you who agree can leave the maps here, and we will put them up on the wall for other people to see and read. So because you will be making the maps on those sheets of paper that you have on the tables, mine is just a rough piece of paper. But please take some of the page. You can just draw a line, and underneath wrote your name, where you're from, and what this map represents. Okay, you can make a short description or maybe make a key for the map so that when we put it on walls and other people come up to smell them and to look at them, they can know some background information. And before you start and before I present the materials you have on the tables, I will show you a list of raw materials that are available for making the maps. On your tables, you've got blank paper sheets, and they will be the canvas for your smell map. You've got magazines that you can cut up. You can tear out pictures from them. You can use the felt tip pens to draw. You can write on them. But also, what I prepared for you are stickers that are made of felt, which absorbs fragrance. And you also have different raw materials. I will show you a list in a moment that you can apply on those dots, and you can stick the dots onto your map. So if you want people to smell your smell map, you can also do it. All the materials are available here on the table, so if you want to use them, please come up to the table, use the raw material, screw the bottle back on, and then come back to your table, okay? I would kindly ask you not to take the raw materials to your tables, because then it would limit other people's access to them. So make a map using images, drawings, words, and scents, and use the smells to guide people through the map you're making. And this is the list of the raw materials available. We've got grass, soil, flowers, water, spices, powder, coffee, bread, linen, animals, fruit, leather, pine, candy, soap, and also some abstract scents like light, darkness, wind, smoke, and dirt. So you can just come up to the table, smell them, take the sticky circles, and use them to enhance your maps. If you have any other questions, you can just come up and I will help you. So enjoy. Okay, so I've got the signal that we need to wrap up the workshop. Thank you very much for coming. And if you would like to share the maps with the rest of the participants, please bring them here to the table. And then we will collect all the maps and put them on the wall just in front of the conference room. So as soon as you leave the room, there is a wall on the left-hand side, and we will put the maps there. So please just bring them here. We will carefully collect them and attach them to the wall. Thank you for coming and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah.